Okay, good, good. This has things that are in the right place. We're not lagging. That's great. I think it was a computer issue. So that's where the computer wasn't working. I did a thing where I ran out of power like an hour ago. And then it was like, oh yeah, you know what we're going to do? We're going to throttle everything to conserve power, even when you plug it back in. So once I've got that fixed, once I've lowered the refresh rate, everything seems to be working fine. Hello there. Yeah, so that was a fun half hour. Okay. So the idea of this stream is that I am gonna be working. Not so much teaching people anything, not so much training, explaining anything, not so much, hey, this is how VTubers work, or talking you through things. As long as it looks and sounds good now, that's great. The idea is we just comfortably be here, next to each other, in proximity. Rather than me playing any kind of music, you can put on your own music as you like. So I'm not going to have background music. I'm just going to be here. I will be typing stuff. I will be not recording stuff, editing stuff, but not showing you what I'm editing because I want that to be more of a surprise for the kinds of videos I'm doing. But I'll be maybe mentioning stuff. At the moment, I'm going to be working on a lot of shorts. I'm thinking the shorts, yes. So, not making shorts for people to wear. As you know, I'm skirt wearer. Never mind. So, the idea is I'm going to be cutting them up, making them work, making them ready so that I can then put them onto the channel in 2 weeks' time, perhaps? I can't schedule anything because I don't know how long anything is going to work, and every now and then Games Workshop throws something at me and it's like, oh look, a new thing, you might want to talk about this. I mean, they don't say that, but they just announce stuff and I have no idea what's going to happen. Like we did last week with the Tau leaks. That wasn't so much Games Workshop throwing it at people, more we found it and we're like, ooh, a thing, I better talk about this and actually explain it as best I can, how it's going to work, what the things look like, and everything like that. Hello. Good. So if not quite yet, we'll set up a timer. And then I will go quiet, which is fine. Move my desk into the corridor so I can be working. Chat is on the other side of me. No, wait, that's my screen. There's chat. Chat's over there. I can see chat. I'll just move them around so that they're actually working in the right places. The chat is working. Excellent. So I will be quiet, sort of, for about 20 minutes while I do some work stuff. And then an alarm will go off, which hopefully all of us will hear, including me. And then we can chat about whatever you want. So if you put questions in the side of the chat, that's where I can get to them when we're in the chatting step. Otherwise, this is just nice to have someone else to work alongside while I'm doing this, and it isn't just me sitting alone, clicking a button, and no one caring. So it's nice to have you here. Thank you for coming. You have a sleeping cat or? Ah, pet the sleeping cat or, but like really gently, so that the cat is still asleep. That kind of prevents working. A little bit. A little bit. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you'll be able to guess how things are going based on the amount of mumbling. Oh yeah, I do sometimes talk to myself. I also haven't got hand tracking on because that's where the typing wouldn't quite match the typing that you're seeing on the screen, and it would be another thing that I'd have to watch for, and I don't want to have to watch for the stream. I want to actually be able to do the work. But we'll get on with that. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So it's a nice idea, I think. A different idea. We'll see how it goes. If it goes really well, then I may do more of these. If it's something where, yeah, we very quickly get down to like 10 people, no one cares, then maybe won't do another one. Because apparently I need to keep things healthy and active on YouTube, and just turning on the stream and chatting to people is apparently not how you do it. supposedly. But never mind. If you want to paint some models, if you want to build some models at the same time, or if you are actually at work, because I've tried to do this at a time when, for most people, they will be at work, assuming that you work from home or you work in an office and you can listen to someone. Yeah. What happened was the computer was having problems and then sending not the right things to YouTube, and that meant that there was a 2-minute lag, which is just awful. There would be no way I could respond to chat in that time. Yeah, you'll be painting. Great. Great. Okay, I will set the timer started. Boop. Refresh timer. There we go. So that's the next time I'll be stopping to chat and see how we're doing with the painting and the model making and whatever you're up to at work. Until then, I'll just be muttering to myself, but I'll be here. Okay. Sorry. Oh, blummeneck. That is a loud noise. How do I stop that? Ah. That's it. There we go. That should stop now. Hasn't stopped the timer for me. How do I turn off the noise? I mean, you shouldn't be hearing it, so that's fine. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, you're not hearing the big chiming going on, but I'm just getting it constantly in the back of my ears. How do I even turn that off? How do I stop an alarm from going off when it's a virtual alarm? Okay, if I double click that, then it goes away. Good. Good. Oh, loud noises. Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, I know, I know. I've made it show that the alarm isn't there for you because it is a big annoying alarm. It's just, hey, you're paying attention. Stop paying attention to the working stuff and look back at the people. Ah, yes. So it is, how's it going? Slow progress by the look of it. Yeah. Yeah. I was having a thought. Maybe I could take the stream that I did, the previous stream, which was the anniversary stream, and try and cut that up into, like, the story of me as an idea. Don't know if it'd be a good idea, but it's something that I could do. Alternatively, forget that and just go on with editing more videos because it exists as a VOD. Yeah, I mean, it is a very long VOD. It definitely needs to be cut up because it's 3 hours and it could easily be 20 minutes at that. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, 4 videos there? Well, at least one, but yes. It's a thought. Maybe I could cut it up. It's just the amount of time that will take compared to, you know, just making more videos of other stuff, which is what I think most people would like me to do instead. It's an idea. So I might just leave that for now and put it at the back as a, yeah, get to that. And instead doing short stuff, because there's a lot of people have like questions of, oh, how do I do this? And it's answered somewhere in a video that I've done. If I can just make the video itself and it's short, like 20 seconds answering a question, and then potentially link to a totally different video so that if you want the longer stuff, that'll work and people have got it nice and it works. And then instead I can just work on, yeah, let's get that April the 1st video done. The one that I mentioned in that previous live stream. Oh, right. I'll look at chat and see what I've missed. People are painting. People are building stuff. You've got Con Berserkers to do. That's pretty good. They're easy enough to paint. They'll be the new monopose models, I assume. I'm a sucker for the ones from like 1998. The ones that were like 1998 to 2023. That was a long time for them, but they're really good models. I thought, and the multi-pose, you can put them in loads of different poses, and it isn't just you have to put them together in a certain way. Yeah, they're not quite mono build, but basically mono build. Because it's a limit to the kind of weapons you can have. I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, they're not the best. Oh, someone's got the big Kroot box coming. I saw that in the Discord that, hey, look at this. I'm getting the Kroot box and it's going to turn up at some point. Quite a few people have decided to pre-order that or order it, one or the other. So there's going to be an influx of Kroot. And then you can look at the Kroot detachment and see, yeah, this is not a bad idea. I like this. This is a good thought. Yes. You like the idea of co-working stream? I don't know how people are feeling about it. It's getting quite a few views, which is something. I'm also noticing the subscriber count is decreasing, which is not necessarily a good thing. It may be that, hang on a minute, when's the last time you made a video on Warhammer? I'm doing it. This is what I'm doing right now. That's the whole point. I'm doing it. It's the proof that I'm working, even if you're not seeing me working, because showing off was like spoilers. We don't want spoilers. Yeah. Working, things are working. Oh, your videos convinced me to pick up Gene Stealer Cult as the first army. Combat Patrol boxes in the mail. Excellent choice. There will be many supportive Gene Stealer Cult videos in the future, and little things. And will they get a big Battle Force box with the Codex? You know, probably they will, and it'll be kind of expensive, and there will be nothing new apart from probably one new Gene Stealer Cult character, which looks like what we're going to get. It's not ideal. I don't know if you should paint orcs or do Pathfinder writing. I mean, Pathfinder writing is something that can take time. If you're the DM, or Games Master, I suppose it uses a Games Master rather than a Dungeon Master, having everything set up in the vague sense so you know roughly what's going to happen is fine. I try not to be too intense if I'm running a game of like Dungeons and Dragons or something. That's where... Okay, they might not even go anywhere near this. Ideally, I should have convinced them that they should, and that's the best thing to do. Otherwise, oh great, I've created some characters that they're not going anywhere near to. That's not the best idea. What have I spent all this time doing? So having a vague outline for Games Master stuff is working. If you've got a character, then, I mean, much like myself, I just like to have 3 or 4 lines as a backstory, and that'll do. That'll do. Ted B, I'm the reason you picked Battle Sisters as a first army. Well, that is quite some praise. I hope you have a lot of fun with the Battle Sisters. I hope that it's not too difficult to build them and paint them. The building of them can be quite annoying. Very thin arms, and a lot of the models, even the multi-pose ones, they kind of end up looking monopose anyway. Kind of annoying. There's never been what I consider amazing battle sister models. I like the multi-part stuff. Oh yeah, they're so small. Absolutely. I try not to pick a favorite faction. I just have a favorite faction at the time. That's what I'm thinking. So recently, I've been enjoying Deathwatch, so I think the next video I do will be a Deathwatch video because they are not getting the love they need anywhere else. And then we'll see. Yeah, oh, no wait, maybe the next video is not the Deathwatch one, it's going to be the April 1st video, which I have written down. Oh god, do it! Make sure that one is done. So that'll be a good idea. It's on my list of things to do, you know, right now. Make sure that I have all the bits needed to make it work. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. Oh, is it raining outside? I mean, it's not raining for me. Things are fine here, at least. Of course, not everyone is exactly where I am, even though we're right next to each other. Oh, this is so weird. It's a weird, like, we're close, but also incredibly distant. It makes no sense, but it's happening. Yeah, it's... I don't know how it's going. I think it's going fine. I'm definitely doing some work, but maybe not as intensely working as much as I'm going to be doing normally, because I am running a stream, sort of, and also working at the same time. Oh, no rain in England just means it's at the time between it's raining and it's going to rain. It's only ever one or the other. It's sunny in Scotland. Yeah, if you're going to prime some models outside, definitely do them while you can. The only problem is if the grass is wet, assuming you do it on the grass, you could do it on the pavement, not on your pavement. Yes, do it on the drive if you have a drive. Do it in the yard if you have a yard. Something like that. And you spray them there, usually in a box or on some cardboard, so you don't spray over the top on other stuff. Yes, the Deathwatch video is not going to be building on Deathwatch. Ooh, could be. That's a thought. I'll write that down. Building on Deathwatch, starting with Overkill, maybe. Maybe, yeah. Okay, that's a thing I'm going to write down, and I'm going to get to writing some more of that, so I have more of a script. Good idea. You hang models on the washing line. Wow, that's one way to do it. Uh-huh. yeah, the Kroot looks like they're going to be a tide of bodies. Slightly annoying to get rid of because so many of the units have stealth. And then you also have the invulnerable save on them if you're taking the Kroot detachment, which you probably should if you're doing an army of Kroot. But a tide of Kroot, and they're pretty decent in close combat. Their main thing that they're lacking, as I said in my Tau videos, they haven't got the armor penetration. So whatever you can do to get armor penetration on your Kroot units, that's great. Go for that. Absolutely. Okay, now that I have an idea, I'm going to put the timer back on. We've had the brief chatting thing. Now it's going to be 20 more minutes of work. That's my ideal. If you want to chat to each other in the chat bar, that's totally fine. But I'm going to set the timer back up. There we go. 20 minutes. So in 20 minutes, I will hear another loud screaming noise that you won't have to hear. Thankfully. I'll talk again soon. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Okay. That's my noise going off. It's been 20 minutes. Oh. So, what have we missed? Oh, some people have been getting into Kill Team. Kill Team's a pretty good, not Kill Team. The other one, Combat Patrol. Combat Patrol is a pretty good place to start with an army. It works. It's pretty good. You get to learn the faction. You get to learn some stratagems and how stratagems work. You get to learn some enhancements. You definitely get the feel for an army, even if they are not balanced against one another. There's no way that they are. Don't worry about it. But as an introduction to 40k, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yes. Did I see a mention of some idea that, oh, they might put Deathwatch somewhere into the Imperial Agents? Yeah, if Deathwatch gets lumped into Imperial Agents, since they're practically confirmed to be getting some kind of Army Codex thing. Well, yeah, the Imperial Agents practically confirmed to be getting something, but they have enough with all of the Inquisition stuff, the Assassins, all of the Navy stuff, and that's what their new Combat Patrol box and rules is based around. I can't see Deathwatch being put into Imperial Agents because although they only have kits officially that's like a couple of units, 3 or 4 units, the thing is they use so many regular Space Marine units, and their lore has been built up over the last couple of editions to be very much focused around, and they are very Primaris heavy. So they have a lot of intercessors, they have aggressors, their kill team, no, their combat patrol box is aggressors and intercessors. So I think it's unlikely that Deathwatch will be thrown into Imperial Agents. I think Deathwatch will continue to be their own supplement kind of codex in the same way as the Dark Angels are. And it'll work like that. Yeah. Oh, I've helped you a lot since the start of 10th edition. Excellent. If I can get more videos out, but they're just taking a long time at the moment, then we'll get more of a flow going. It's just kind of, I don't know, backed up at the moment. I suppose that's how to put it, where it's like, I need to focus on this video, I need to focus on this video, and other things will come. I think I've basically just finished a script of another video, which is the Deathwatch one, which should be good. And early April, that's when I'll have that one out. Yes. Yes. Just going through chat, just catching up. One of the interesting things about the Chaos Forces, especially, well, do you think of the Traitor Legions? They are, at least according to the lore, mostly made up of traitor humans and mutants and a little bit of demons and a little bit of Chaos Space Marines. There's not that many Chaos Space Marines compared to Imperial Loyalist Space Marines, even though you have entire armies of them on the tabletop. That's just because it's fun. Yeah. So that's the thing to consider if you're doing like fluffiness. A fluffy Chaos Space Marine army doesn't have that many Chaos Space Marines. I'm catching up. Okay, I'll just skip to where we are at the current stuff. Deathwatch Combat Patrol, good choice. Yeah, I also get tired of the 2,000 point games. I did indeed do a video around December time, which was, I don't like 2,000 point games. I much prefer 1,000 point games because you can get 2 1,000 point games in the same time as you can get 2,000 points. And then you can change up the army list a bit. And you don't feel like, okay, this is a slog. We've been going for 2 turns. It's obvious who's going to win at this point. Then do you continue with the game? Because there's not usually the time to restart and do a whole new thing. Because if you do end up going for a full 5 turns, you're actually only going to get to play 4 turns. I also love 1,500 points. Yeah, 1,500 points as an army. That works. That's really good. Oh, you saw that video. It helped out a lot at the time. Excellent. Excellent. Yes, and you can indeed go pure cultist in 10th edition as Chaos Space Marines. It's also something I put on the list, but I've had it on the list for a very long time as if I want to branch out into Chaos Space Marines, that's a great place to start. I can do an all-cultist Chaos Space Marine army. And here's how it would work, here's what's good about it, and how to get the most out of it. Yeah. It would just be a lot of models. A lot of models. What's the coolest kind of base for Genestealer Cult? Well, the coolest type is Ice, because ice is cold. It's a pun. We get the pun. It's also really easy to paint. You just paint it white or dry brush it white, because a lot of the Games Workshop bases are not flat and even. They have slight bumps, so that already looks like clumps of snow. So just doing a white dry brush over a base, very easy way to do bases for any faction. And then you don't need to worry about block and tufts of earth and buying all them little bits that upgrade it. Yeah. Not the best. Not the best. But it can work. Oh yeah, you can add Chaos Spawn as well. Chaos Spawn, very much suiting the whole Chaos Cultist theme. Very good idea. Deathwatch should have never been an army in their own, same as Grey Knights and Custodes. You know, you're probably right. I think it was fine with the Deathwatch being, and here's some elite units, or you have an army that's basically the first company task force. Because it is meant to be all veterans. So it's that, yeah, we've got Sternguard, we've got Vanguard veterans, we've got Terminators. That's our main list. And it's just themed around them. So one detachment could have probably done it for the Deathwatch. Have a Deathwatch army, but they're all painted as Alpha Legion. Having a hangout with spies. You can have Alpha Legion in your Deathwatch. Yeah, that can work. They can just be ones that are like, you know, this whole traitory thing, I'm not into it, so I'm just going to scrape the Alpha Legion thing off my shoulder pad, walk up to a Watch Fortress and be like, hey, I'm a Space Marine, I've been around for a while, I know what I'm doing, I'm going to go kill some aliens, it'll be great, I'll help you out there. What do I think about Death Guard, Mr. Vampire? Well, I think the Death Guard are not for me. It's a mix of incredibly tough and gooey models. They're really detailed Plague Marines. I've just never been that interested in the whole super tough siege warfare, but it's trench warfare, but it's muddy and gritty. We already have Imperial Fists. We already have Iron Warriors. And I think there's too much plaguiness going on. Yeah. I do like the idea of an entire zombie army, but at that point, I can just have an entire cultist army. And I have a cultist army, well, it's like 95% cultists. Yes, all factions of the Alpha Legion anyway. Everything is just an Alpha Legion civil war. Absolutely. Yeah. You were toying with the idea of doing an all cultist or traitor guard army. Okay, if you're doing traitor guard, then your anti-tank stuff is going to be the Imperial Guard tanks and the heavy weapon teams. The cultists, and they have in the Legends rules cultist heavy weapons teams, because they used to be sold through Forge World. So that's where you've got your las cannon teams, your heavy stubbers. They also had heavy stubber teams. So you could just take them from the Legends rules that exist and use them in your Chaos Space Marine army. Otherwise, yes, the vehicles are all Space Marine vehicles. Predator looks a lot like a Leman Russ. That can work. Alternatively, just ignore anti-tank, pretend it's not there, and rely on just praying to the gods to get lethal hits on everything. It's how it can work with all of the stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's plenty of Legend stuff. So all of the Blackstone Fortress models, they're also in Legends. So if you want a Psyker by himself, actually the Psyker's pretty good. Gives a unit a 4+ invulnerable save, and it can be a Cursed Cultist. A Cursed Cultist having an invulnerable save of 4+, and then they feel no pain, and having some models with 1 wound, some models with like 3 wounds, can be really good for just survivability. And then you get into combat, and they murder things. Ah. It works. It works quite well. Yes, the planet, half the rebels of the planet are revolutionaries for the Genestealer cult, the other half are Chaos Cultists. It can definitely happen. Oh, Lasgun Supremacy, absolutely. We've got to have as many Lasguns as possible. They are wounding, you know, a tank on a 1/6 of the time. It's great. It's great. Yeah, the tanks are not going to crush everyone. the tanks won't be able to. You have more models than they can possibly kill. It's good. That's good. Oh my. Right. Auto guns better than las guns? Well, I think las guns are better in the lore at least. Auto guns are just modern weapons. The idea of a heavy stubber is your big, like, modern day machine gun or auto cannon kind of thing that we have. Yeah, that's your modern day man portable machine gun. That doesn't do a lot in 40k. Auto guns also, you need to carry all the ammunition to reload them. Las guns, the benefit of las guns is they can be recharged very quickly. You can just plug them into anything. If you look at the terrain that they're giving out, not the most recent stuff, which is all frontierish, like the city stuff, along the walls, there's all of these gaps for where you can put in a las pack, because the las packs are batteries not just for the las guns, but they can fit in for anything else. It's just where you charge your batteries, and having a, oh yes, I'll just plug my las gun charging pack into any kind of outlet. Being able to do that with ammunition would be amazing in the modern day. Firefights could just keep on going if you have the weapon. So that's why the las guns are great. Hard to break, easy to get source of ammunition for. It's great. Yeah, I mean, when you're fighting, I don't know, Necrons, you can be like, well, I knew that the Necrons had a kill limit before they phased out, so I sent wave after wave of my models at them until eventually the Necrons left. Yeah. Oh yeah, lasgun is the worst gun in the game, but the reason that it exists has a very good lore reason, which is nice. Okay. What paint game works best for Gene Stealers, Metroids, or StarCraft Zerg? I'm not massively familiar with them. I've never played StarCraft. Metroids, maybe. Or you could just go for any kind of two tones, or you could do a blend. Color wheels, you have to just get out the color wheel and spin the color wheel. Or you just pick a Tyranid Hive fleet and go with that. And that can work. Okay, I'm going to put the time back on and do some more work until it gets to on the hour, because that is a time zone that everyone can understand. There we go. 20 minutes back up. I'll chat again soon. Hmm. Okay. Right. Oh, yes, it is like 4 p.m. where I am now. Okay, we are on the hour. I've just been looking briefly at what is happening with Age of Sigmar in the new edition. They're going to change up the War Scrolls, which is your like index card, your unit entry card. They're not going to have wounds anymore. They will have health. And I'm so glad that that has been renamed for clarity, apparently. Maybe people got confused with your wound roll for the wounds, which is a little bit annoying in like 40k because some effects trigger on a successful wound, which usually means a successful wound roll, not you actually reduce the number of wounds that the enemy had. I can get behind that. Okay, yeah. Reduce the enemy health rather than scoring a wound. I get it. I get it. It can work. The melee distance is now 3-inch combat range from opponents, so that speeds up combat resolution, sort of, because otherwise they had weapon ranges, like a spear was a 2-inch range, a sword was 1-inch range, some big monsters and things, and elite infantry, they had 2-inch range on like everything, so that you could really fight in 2 ranks. Or if you had like spears and you were small, you're fighting in 3 ranks if you had a base that was less than 25 millimeters, which some did, like a 20 millimeter base. Maybe they did. It always felt like you were fighting in 2 or 3 ranks. And you can now contest an objective with a model within 3 inches of a 40 millimeter objective marker. It used to be 6 inches. I mean, I'll put it in the chat as a link in case you want to look at it yourself. The other announcement they've done is there's going to be a Siege of Rax novel. So if you like the Deathcore of Krieg and you haven't got Imperial Armor Volume 5, 6, and 7, you can find out what the Siege of Rax is all about, how it was deliberately attrition-y, how it was like, okay, we've estimated about 12 million people are going to have to die to get this world back. It'll take 12 years and a million guardsmen, however many millions, however many years. It was calculated and then enacted. And then the only people who had that kind of manpower and willingness to do that were the Deathcore of Krieg. So that's why they were called upon. Yes, that is the Deathcore of Krieg you hear. The Mystery Codex this summer is almost certainly going to be Imperial Agents. We don't know what it's going to have in it. We don't know what it's going to look like. There's no real reason to mystify it if you're not going to do it. And since they're doing 3 codexes this summer rather than 2, it's probably going to be something small. For example, a Space Marine add-on faction, or it's like a whole new thing, but it's small, like the Imperial Agents is a pretty small faction in themselves. So that's probably what it's going to end up being. Yeah. How do we deal with tanks as sisters? Well, you've got Exorcists, you've got Castigators, you've got Allied Knights. That is the basic ways you can do it. And yes, you can use a 6 and lethal hits to combine it with things like roll a 6 to hit, automatically wound, -4 AP on melter weapons. That gets through the enemy armor. Roll straight damage. I've never played against the Silent King yet. I've played against the Catan, and they're a pain with their high toughness armor save of 4+, which is 3+ in cover if they get cover, which, you know, most things do all of the time. And a 4+ invulnerable save, and a feel no pain, and half damage. If they got rid of just the feel no pain, that would be fine. We could live with that. Half damage is enough, or change it to -1 damage, rather than halving all damage. Then you can cope with them at the kind of current point level, but what I'm expecting is at the end of April, when they do a new points thing, Catan will go up in points. Also probably the Technomancer, who can heal D3 wounds on anything, including Catan. So that's probably what we can expect. Yeah. Someone went outside. Oh, don't do that. The sunlight. No. No, it will hurt you. Sunlight is bad. Yes, but we're getting Age of Sigmar Health Awareness Month. I think this is meant to be a now be aware of the new health. Oh dear. I mean, they should do a lot of that stuff in 40k as well. So we can expect for 11th edition, We will no longer have a wounds characteristic. We will have a health points characteristic. And we can all have HP. That's something that people recognize across all game systems. HP being health points. Happens a lot in online games. It's a stat. People know it. Rather than I have this many wounds, I also have to roll to wound to score a wound. But then there's an armor save between the wound and the wounds. Yeah. More Age of Sigmar content if I'm so inclined. I am unlikely to be inclined because it just doesn't do as well as anything 40k related. And I need to get my views up. I already do the thing where I talk about the factions that are least supported and have the least interest in them. Oh, look at me doing a Deathwatch video. That faction that has the smallest player base in all of 40k. So it's unlikely to happen. Maybe something silly and fun. If there's something silly comes out of it, then I can do another sketch where it's me talking to me about Age of Sigmar. That could work. Yeah. Maybe then. But I'm unlikely to do and here's some Age of Sigmar lore, or here's how to play Age of Sigmar, or here's how to use the vampire counts or Soulblight Gravelords in Age of Sigmar. Yeah, so it's unlikely for my channel. What would be a good way to build out the Adeptus Sororitas Combat Patrol to about 1,000 points? Well, I would suggest getting a Seraphim box, because that can be turned into making the Monopose Battle Sisters actually have the correct weapons, and the new box that you got can be Seraphim in itself. The Paragon Warsuits are a good way of bulking it out. A lot of points there. Morwen Varl is a maybe. I mean, you could add any kind of character. Celestine is a good, fun character and goes well with the Seraphim and Seraphim. Zephyrim and Seraphim. Why is it Latin? No, why did they make it Greek rather than Latin when the Seraphim are Latin? There's no reason to mix it. Shouldn't do it. It's all bad and wrong. Games Workshop naming systems. It's not the best. It is just not the best. They need to sort themselves out and stop having Infernius Marines and Gunmen. I don't know. I can't think of what they have. Some of their names are fine. We understand what a tactical squad does. We understand what the Devastator squad does. Even the new Assault Intercessors with jump packs. I don't know why they're not just called Assault Marines with jump packs. That would make sense. You know that they assault people at least. Assault Intercessors I can understand. Heavy Intercessors are heavy and slow. That makes sense. I can live with that. Okay. I'm thinking of doing one more bit of working, one more bit of chatting, and then I think that's where I'll call it for today. And then I'll be able to look at the stats and figure out if this was a complete mistake and bad things have happened to the channel, or if it was like, you know, this was a fun thing. I mean, you'll have to let me know in the chat if this has been like, this has been different and interesting, a way of doing stuff. We'll see how it goes in the future. So I'll bring back up the timer, and I will chat again in 20 minutes. Nope. There's the chime. Oh, good, right. I got another short edited. Pretty good. Just name it. And then save it. Good, good, good. That works. Get it out of the folder that it shouldn't be in. Put it in the folder that it should be in. There we are. Okay, okay. That timer shouldn't still be... Oh, it's not up there. I'm just lagging slightly. But it's only me that's lagging this time, not everyone else. Excellent. Oh, we had a full discussion about the Kroot and where they come from. I think the short answer is weird birds. Generally that. Yeah. Oh yeah, 3rd edition codex, which was the first Tau codex because they came out about the year 2000 as like, new millennium, new army, totally new faction, let's go. They were fine. They had a lot of aesthetic things that were very similar to the Eldar, like big back banners, which have the banners on them, so they were getting their idea from the very Chinese, Japanese, medieval, I don't know if you apply the same periods to it, no, because you do like dynasty periods. But the medieval back banners when you had warfare, and also then giant fighting robots, and also Kroot, which are Angry Birds, but not the Angry Birds from the Angry Birds game or film series. It's surprising that that became a film series, really surprising. Yeah. So the 2nd or 3rd Emu War can be entirely against the Kroot. Terrorbird DNA. Oh, someone's quoting Walking with Beasts. Oh, that's very old. That came out in the 90s. Like 6 episodes, Walking with Dinosaurs, and then the sequel, Walking with Beasts. And then I think it was a few episodes where they did Walking with Man, and it was just not as popular because it was like, humans, oh, I've heard of them. They're really rubbish. They have the worst stats. Tell me about dinosaurs and terrorbirds that eat horses. Yeah. Lot more fun. I'm glad the painting's going well. Excellent. Excellent. I really didn't like the different things that Games Workshop came out with for the Battle Sisters in 9th edition. That was the Paragon Warsuits, Celestian Sacrosancts, and the Castigator. I looked at the Castigator and I thought, someone has slapped a Leman Russ and a Predator tank together and said, this is now an Imperial tank for the Spins Wheel Battle Sisters. They have that now. I was okay with the redesign of the Exorcist being in plastic because the metal one is an absolute pain to transport because it's metal attached to plastic and it doesn't work great. Not super keen on the massive immolator church panel of glass that's in front of the sister, but only that bit. Little bit weird that. Didn't like it. Other stuff is fine. The Paragons, yeah, they have no obvious feet. I don't know why they're not fully enclosed in a warsuit, but you have the arms sticking out. So you could do something interesting with painting where you have the helmet, if you even put a helmet on them, and the arms in one colour, and then the actual suit an entirely different colour. But we have already got penitent engines. You could have just made something a lot like a penitent engine, which had a sister piloting it, but you can see that they're enclosed in like actual armour, not exposed to the elements the way that Paragon Warsuit people are. That was a choice they made, and I don't know why they did it. Oh yeah, Castigator does make some sense since every other vehicle is a Rhino variant. Why not just give the sisters the Predator? I don't know why not. Why not just be like, oh, this was borrowed from the Space Marines who now have all of the Primera stuff, apparently, where everything hovers, apparently. And I get confused between not the Repressor or the Repulsor. There's one that's kind of like a Razorback, there's one that's kind of like a Predator, and there's one that's kind of like the Land Raider, at least in points, but it's not as good as a Land Raider, but it does have a transport capacity and a big gun. I don't know what they are. Penitent engines are more fun, yes. Could green stuff the arm gaps? I guess. Could do. Yeah. Could have the Appleseed arms. That was a pretty good fighting robot thing. Or just go generally full Gundam, but don't say it's Gundam because you already have Tau for that. The Impulsor is the Razorback. Then the Repulsor is the Predator. And then something else is like the Land Raider, at least in points terms and for transport capacity and big gun, but it's not as good as the Land Raider. And the Land Raider is just better. Every old Marine tank was a big gun and a Rhino. Yeah. But now that the army has the same name for everything, don't know what to get. I think it's also a bit confusing. But how do we even do Space Marines? How are they still an introductory army when the different names that they have don't really match what people think they are? This is the Devastator Assault Marine thing. I know. And the Chapter House thing was an awkward lawsuit for Games Workshop. It wasn't so much designed on, no one else can make Space Marines. I think what Chapter House was doing, if I remember correctly, was they were making custom shoulder pads for Space Marines and being compatible with Space Marines. And Games Workshop was like, whoa, we want to make our own custom shoulder pads and weird Space Wolf helmets. Why can't we do that? We're going to take them to court for doing that. And they resisted the court case, which is what quite a few other places haven't done, where they've made really cool fantasy things that are very compatible with Games Workshop things. And they were taken to court and they were like, no, we'll just give up as a company because we're small and run by 2 people out of a garage. Chapter House was like, no, we're going to fight this. And that's where it came to court and was like, no, you can't copyright the shape of a shoulder pad. Other people can do that and stick a bird symbol on it. That'd be fine. Yes. Have I considered starting a small Blood Angels army for the vampire stuff that's on Brown? I've got now 1 Blood Angel model in my Death Watch and 1 or 2 Blood Angel successor models. So it's I haven't really thought about it because I have Imperial Fist Space Marines and now Death Watch Space Marines. That's probably enough Space Marines. And if I want some melter weapons, some flamer weapons, and slight variations on Space Marines anyway, I have Death Watch and Sisters of Battle. That's the problem with the Blood Angels. And then I would have to start talking about how much Blood Angels are good or not good and how good and interesting their special units are and whether or not they're going to stick around in a new Codex Blood Angels or get taken away. We don't know what's going to happen there, and they take away a lot of stuff from Space Marines anyway, but still have kept the Tactical Marines and Devastator Marines. But if you look in the Space Marine Codex, where they have their Crusade thing, where you can level up your units, you can turn some Space Marine Scouts into something else, and also your, like, incursors... the stealthy ones, the ones that would be in the 10th company, the Scouts company. You can change them to be other more frontline units like intercessors, and you can change those frontline units into your elite units, which are your Stern Guard, your Terminators, and your Vanguard veterans. Nowhere in that are Tactical Marines or Devastating Marines mentioned, and that's just worrying for the future. Generally, what people want is a redo of the Tactical Marine box, but since they're doing so much of that for Horus Heresy, it's not looking good that we would see that in 40k. But a Mark 9 suit of armor with upscaled Tactical Marines and be like, these are the people who have held the line for 10,000 years. That'd be great. People would appreciate that. But I can see Games Workshop just doing, mono build, mono pose everything. 1 weapon, easy to make. Doesn't need as much thought. Don't need to try and fit 15 different arms onto a sprue for 10 models. All with different weapons and equipment. Because you need a power fist, a power sword, thunder hammer, combi weapon, and a plasma gun, a flamer, a grav gun, assuming they're still doing grav guns. That was a weird thing I didn't think they should have introduced. And a missile launcher and a heavy bolter. Maybe a heavy flamer if you want to get the Blood Angels included. And after heavy bolter, missile launcher, is that the only kind of heavy weapons they can have? Multi-melter, have a multi-melter as well. It's a lot of stuff. Then They might just make a tactical squad or Tacticus squad for 11th edition. Yeah, I mean, if I was in charge of Space Marines, I would have a tactical squad and not have a bunch of other stuff. Like, intercessors would be gone. Heavy intercessors can stay because they're different enough and they can fit the ideal of these are Primaris Marines, their weapons have armor penetration, they're bigger, they're tougher. It fits them in the lore terms. Just not, don't need the regular intercessors. We have tactical Marines. Yeah. You love jump pack fighty boys who went for Blood Angels. Almost went sisters just for all Seraphim. It's not a bad thought. All sisters with jump packs. We'll see what happens when we potentially get a Canoness with jump pack. Then I can look at an army list that's all of just jump units. That'd be a nice idea. Oh, if tactical squad things are monopose, that's not ideal. I do miss them just having, hey, let's have arms and you use glue to attach the arms and it's not half push fit, half monopose, because they all end up being monopose, even if they are not push fit and you need to use glue. And I don't like that. We have that so much with the Battle Sisters, the multi-part kit. Only certain arms go with certain bodies and it really limits you. Kind of annoying. Very annoying. I do definitely rate, now that they've been reduced in points, the heavy intercessors. Whereas in previous editions, as soon as they turned up, they were just not good, not worth taking. They're slow. They cost more points than regular intercessors. Yeah, it's not the best. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Monopose stuff, I can understand it for like a starter set. That works. That's the one place I like the monopose stuff. And, you know, push fit, all of it. I can definitely get behind you. Just slot the arms on and there you go. You have a bunch of dudes, almost all the same. But yeah. I hear heavy intercessors are good to have midfield objectives. Well, their advantage is because their weapons are assault and heavy, you can advance with them and they can still shoot. So they're always going to go 5 inches plus D6 and still be firing normally. And once they get to that midfield objective, then they get + 1 to their armor save. Not like Imperial Guard squads get, where it's the benefit of cover, just plain +1 to the save. So they're on a 2+ save as standard against damage 1 things. Oh yeah, very powerful at 1000 points. So when I did I think it was the Death Watch at 1000 points, I may have recommended them in that army. I know I definitely have recommended heavy intercessors before. It's a good choice for Space Marine players. Blood Angels Commander ran some of them and they're stupidly tanky on heavies. Oh yeah, yeah. It's just that if it's anything that isn't damage 1, they don't get that bonus to the save. But small arms, to try and get rid of them, it's not working. 2+ save, 3 wounds against damage 1, it's not going through. Then they lack an invulnerable save, but in this edition, 10th edition, invulnerable saves are really not that good. They rarely come up. I mean, when was the last time any Battle Sister players actually rolled their 6+ invulnerable save? I mean, it works on things like Kroot, who have a 6+ armor save anyway. Having a 6+ invulnerable save is just better. But if you're getting a 6+ invulnerable save and you have a 3+ armor save, that's a -3. No, you need to be hit by a -4 weapon on any of your things before your invulnerable save even kicks in. We're not seeing that high armor penetration in this edition, thankfully. Last edition, the armor penetration was on everything, and it was absurd, and it was high. It was bad. It was just bad. Oh yes, the heavy intercessors are also toughness 6. So they can definitely do their job. If you just want a unit to hold it, it is an alternative to Terminators. They're not going to do the punching. They're not going to do the shooting. If you've got, I mean, the aggressors are kind of the punchy Terminators. These are the sit on objective kind of Terminators. Melters hate invulnerable saves? Yeah, but that's usually on tanks. And they have a 5+ invulnerable save on a lot of things that do have invulnerable saves. And it comes up with Custodes, but you need to be hitting them again with -3 armor penetration before it's coming up. It's rarer. Or you can be something like the Catan, whose armor save and invulnerable save is the same thing, the 4+. So they're always on their invulnerable save. Armor penetration means nothing. I'm liking a lot of the command point stratagems that give you armor penetration, especially with the Death Watch, Space Marines, Storm of Fire in the Devastator Doctrine, the Assault one, where if you're in the Assault Doctrine, you also get armor penetration. Black Templars, Heavy Intercessors, more annoying to shift than the rest because they have a Feel No Pain. Yes. Feel No Pain is way more valuable than Invulnerable Save, as we're finding when things like you compare a Hospitaller to the Imagifier. Go for the Hospitaller because the Feel No Pain is far more likely to come up and will come up as soon as you take damage compared to the Invulnerable Save of 4+, where you need to be hit by something that's -2. Another thing with the 6+ Feel No Pain, which is very annoying, is anything with multi-damage. So if you have damage 2 weapons against something with a 6+ Feel No Pain, they roll 2 dice. Oh, there was 1 6. Whereas you would have killed 2 people, now you kill 1 person. Because of how the Feel No Pain works. Very annoying to get through. Yes. So Black Templars, absolutely a pain. So for their stats and stuff, Heavy Intercessors are really good. I just don't find them that fun because they don't have any punching. They're just pure anvil. And I'm sure that Space Marines can do a better mix. That's why I prefer Terminators. Also, Terminators are firstborn. Terminators have legacy models. Terminators have been around a long time, enough for me to like them. Gravis Marines are kind of flavor of the season. Their points were dropped in January. That's where they become amazing. Not beforehand. Otherwise, they were just overpointed. Overpriced for what they do. Yes. The chat keeping... where's the... well, okay. Am I not oh, right. That's why. I wasn't keeping up with the chat. I was looking at the chat in the wrong place. Where are we at? Where are we at? Space Marines basically have Slugger Boys and Flash Gits. Yeah, the Desolation Marines are kind of a pain. Yes. Oh yeah, any of the Nurgle demon stuff, or just Nurgle units generally, having an invulnerable save plus a Feel No Pain, that was a lot. The Feel No Pains, I don't know if I like it as a rule. Like, it's okay on small things where it's like, okay, a medic gives it to this one small unit. I'm kind of glad that the Death Guard don't have the Feel No Pains anymore, which also they didn't have in 9th edition. That was just -1 damage. Could live with that. Could live with that. The whole thing of Feel No Pain, like, oh yeah, I've done 6 wounds to you and you rolled well, so I do no damage whatsoever. Just because of a fluke of the dice. Sometimes the dice are fun, sometimes they're not. There's only 6 options on a d6, and this is a d6 game, so a third of the time you pass, yeah. Yeah. Oh, toughness 6 is definitely annoying in low points games. So you need to be strength 4 to wound them on 5s, even strength 5, which is usually a lot of the stuff that you use to get through the tougher things, is also wounding on a 5. So you use melter weapons against them, because then you're at least wounding on a 3. That's where you put your anti-tank weapons. Melters are now anti-heavy infantry weapons. Also, you can use combi weapons, but not so many people go for them. They are a pain. They're a good unit. Good unit. At the moment. We'll see what happens in April. I can't imagine they're going to change in points, because Games Workshop seems to be happy with where they are. They're not being thrown around at tournaments a lot, whereas units like Aggressors very much are, even though they have the same base profile. Yeah. Aside from a drop church, what are my wishes for a datasheet when the Sisters Codex comes out? I would love to have Celestians back, just regular Celestians with guns. They can have special guns, that'd be great. I would enjoy that. Canoness with jump pack, I would like that. And what else? What else will we have as a unit? Otherwise, it's about okay. Yeah, Sniper Sisters, or a squad of sisters with snipers. That's something I've mentioned before. Here's your sister teams. I'm not sure about Bike Sisters. I don't think it's necessary. And considering how we have dirt bikes for Genestealer Cult, then we have the really chunky Primaris bikes for the Space Marines as the ones they're still selling. You can still use your regular Space Marine bikes that you've been using since the 90s in everything except tournament games. Oh, weren't Celestians removed so there's a new space for a Space Wolf unit? Ah ha ha ha! Ah ha ha ha! No. I don't know if bikes would suit the sisters. People, when making fan codexes, have done sisters on bikes. I think we're okay with jump packs. That is our fast-moving unit. I don't know what you would have. I mean, would you have bolt guns attached to the front? In which case, they're just identical to the Space Marines. Or near enough identical. And that's not great. No. Could be better. Darnock, not funny. It's just with Space Wolf jokes. Grrr. But not like in a wolf noise kind of way. Just an angry noise. I have an angry face. That's not angry face. That one's angry face. Space Wolves. Ah. I've been accidentally pressing the toggles. I've changed it so that it isn't recognizing what's happening on my face to try and pull the expression, but there's buttons I can press to make it work. Just sometimes if I'm typing or doing other stuff like working in a stream, that's where the buttons get pressed accidentally. So a couple of times during this stream, my face has gone weird. I hope that wasn't too bad for you. Right, this is where I think I'm going to call the end of the stream. I've been going for, it says some hours, 2.5, like 3 hours, including the stream that didn't work because of all the lag. And I would like to get more stuff done. This was okay as an idea. I definitely did get some things done. Some short things, definitely. But it is looking at 2 things at once. Was a good one. If I do it again, you'll be back. Excellent. Okay. Okay. I'll consider it for the future. As I haven't, if like, oh, it's a week and I'm doing a long video and I haven't done something for a while. Oh, wow. Thank you very much for the 40 monies. Very nice of you, Martak. Very nice. I'm glad you're helping with... Well, I'm glad I'm helping you with all of the Battle Sisters. Great. Okay. That's a good time to end it. Thank you very much for that. Have a great day of 40k. I have a stream for this. There we are. Bye.